Yo, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's well. So, I'll come on for a little bit. Another nice day today. It's been really blessed with this weather lately, so yeah. I haven't really had any videos out, long form videos lately. I haven't really got around to doing that. Not really sure what I'd even make them about, to be honest, but if anyone's got any ideas, then let me know. So I do want to try and make some more of the long form stuff as well, but I'm just not too sure. I quite like going live and doing shorts, really. Just put some of my random stuff out, showing the fitness journey and all that. I was thinking whether I should share some of the magic trick stuff on it as well. So that's a bit of variety. So I've got an idea of what I could do, but yeah, I don't know if it would get a lot of views though, but maybe it could. I don't know, but some people say you should separate it out on different channels, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's really a good idea, but I mean, it kind of makes sense that, because some people might not like certain types of content, so then there's an audience for the other type of content. But for me, this channel is about my kind of, you could say it's like a personal brand in the sense of it's about me, it's about my life, it's about sharing my wisdom and insights and my opinions on things and things like that, and also sharing what I can do with my body, with my talents and things like that. So sometimes I show my impressions off and things like that. So I'm I think it's good to have it all in one place. I don't know, trying to separate things out. I don't know. I don't really like the idea of that. I think it's good to have it all in one place to kind of. Hello, Anton. How are you doing? Hope you're well. So people were saying I should separate out the different kinds of content, but I'm I like to have everything in one place. I don't know. It's yeah. So what was everybody doing today then? Everybody having a good day so far? Yeah, it's hay fever stuff again, but it is what it is. Anyway, we've got 10 people watching. Hello everybody, I hope you're all well today. Feel free to ask questions, everybody. 12 people here. Go and chat with us, guys, if you don't mind. We don't bite. So what have you been up to lately, Anton? So if anyone's got any ideas for content they'd like to see, let me know. Bloody cold here. Oh really? I didn't think it would really get so cold over in Australia, but I suppose it is winter over there. Yeah, it's been nice over here. It's but then again, if you're used to it being hot, then even it going into single figures would seem cold or something. So anyway, yeah, welcome in everybody. We're kind of used to it getting kind of cold, so even if it gets into double figures here, it seems kind of warm. Even if it's 10, 11 degrees, it kind of seems warm. But anyway, keep the chat flowing, guys. Who have we got in here then? Hello, Likey Flower. It's raining here. Oh no, where are you from? What's your name, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? Nice to meet you anyway. Make sure you subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Hello, Rodchan. This makes me feel gay, but I like it, so thank you. Oh, really? Well, I'm glad to make you in the sun cold in the shade, oh yeah, sometimes that happens where it's like, you know, as soon as you go in the shade, it just suddenly gets cold. But in the sun, it's alright. But are you from India? Oh, cool. Yeah, welcome in. Nice to meet you all. Hope you're all doing well today. Yeah, if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. But yeah, I'm just, like I said, I want to try and just put out all my stuff on here, like different content. I'm thinking about trying to vary it up a bit. I might do some of the magic stuff on here as well. I like to show that off sometimes, and yeah, try and, you know, sort of, because that's a talent I have for like many years now, and it's something that I come back to every so often, and I'll learn some different things, and it's fun, you know, it's fun to just like perform for people, show off my magic skills and all that, you know. It's it makes me feel like a kind of, I guess because maybe it's because in that moment I feel like a star. I feel like I'm some kind of entertainer or something. I don't know. It's like it kind of puts you in that. As soon as you start doing magic, it makes you like the coolest person in the room. So maybe that's why I learned to do it, because I'm like, okay, I want to do something that's going to make me kind of stand out. Probably because I was like, you know, when I was a kid, I was just kind of a bit awkward and just shy and whatever, and it was didn't really have that many friends, and it was like I would use things like magic as a way to kind of. I mean, actually, I didn't really learn it until I was about 14, but I was like, you know, still in school, and I was just this awkward teenager. Just yeah. So I was like, I had things that I would do to kind of yeah. I don't know, to try and impress people, I guess. I don't know, but I kind of found it fascinating anyway that the whole thing of one varied channel is more accessible. Yeah, but some say, oh, do it on different channels, but the problem is that you then have to then try to build up all these other channels. It seems a bit kind of like, why bother trying to build up several channels? It doesn't seem right. I'd rather have it all in one place. So then, yeah, not everyone's going to like all the content, but there could be some overlap where some people will still like some of it. So it's just one of those things, really. But yeah, you can't please everybody, but it's just having it all in different channels and stuff could make it a bit, you know, because then it's like I'll have subscribers scattered here and there. I don't like the idea of that. So yeah, Anton says true, yeah. So I'm just kind of thinking about what to do, but yeah, I want to continue sharing like the fitness stuff, but I mean, that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea anyway, but like, it's just, I don't know, like nothing's going to please everybody is what I've come to realise. It's like, they say you can please everybody some of the time, you can please some of the people all the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. So, and why would you want to anyway? Why would you want to just try and please everybody? You know, people pleasing sucks, you know, it's just, it's kind of pathetic, isn't it? Just, you've got to just kind of, you know, focus on what makes you happy, and making other people happy should be like a byproduct of you being, you know, you've got to make sure that you're happy. You know, whatever you do, you know, it's got to make you happy, otherwise, if you're not happy, then it's probably going to, like, you know, kind of, other people are going to feel that, you know, it's like, if they're actually, you know, genuine people, and you're reaching out, and you're like, they're going to see that you're not happy, and it's like, it's not going to make them happy. So you want to actually do what you're passionate about, because then that kind of comes through. People can see that you're happy, and the genuine people are actually going to resonate with that. So that's the thing, is a lot of people will try to, like, you know, pander to things, and maybe pander to drama or whatever nonsense. You can tell they're not actually really happy. They're just they've lowered their vibration down to that level, and it's and they attract all these low vibrational people. But then if you can you know, vibrate at a higher vibration of a frequency, I mean, then you can, yeah, then you can, you know, sort of attract a better crowd of people, because yeah, they say you are what you attract, sort of thing, or you know, sort of thing. It's like, you know, so if you're attracting negative, toxic people, then chances are you are one yourself, because these people see you as like, you know, kind of you know, if you're doing a lot of gossiping, you're doing a lot of bitching and moaning, then you're going to attract those type of people, because they say misery loves company. So you've got to just cut out those that, you know, make you miserable and make you feel like that, because you're just going to keep perpetuating that cycle of negativity, and you're just perpetuating it to each other. You've got to cut that cycle if you're finding yourself in that sort of situation. So anyway, I hope everyone's having a good day. I just need to keep reminding myself that if I'm ever feeling down and I'm feeling, kind of insecure or whatever, that I'm doing fine, and that it's just all these like external circumstances do not define me. So that's the thing, is that a lot of us define ourselves based on some external circumstances that are out of our control, and it's like, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. They're just things that are kind of that they're out of our control, like whether it's algorithms or whatever. It's just, you've got to not take things personally, and sometimes I've struggled with things like taking things personally, because I'll see it as like, if say I'm not getting the results I want, I might feel like there's something wrong with me personally or something, or I'm doing something wrong, but oftentimes that might not be the case, because other people can struggle as well, and it's just, this world is very competitive, and unless you get lucky, then it's hard. If you meet the right person at the right time, then you can get lucky, but it's just but it's going to take time to actually build up your kind of reputation, build up the trust, have enough chances to meet the right people, to to be able to network with, to be able to make things happen. So it's just, I think there is an element of luck, but it's like, the element of luck is in terms of like how soon it's going to happen, but I think it's inevitably going to happen if if you're going to just keep going with it. It's just, the problem is that sometimes I would like give up too easily, because I'm like, well, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. I think that's the mentality that ruins a lot of people, where it's like, oh well, if it was going to happen, it would happen by now. But there's some people who it takes longer than they thought it was going to, and you've got to not put any conditions on things, and just just let it take as long as it needs to. And you've got to not try to focus on that. Focus on what you can do to be happy right now, and not be sometimes it's just about being, this is where meditation comes in. This is where sometimes just stillness and just being still with your thoughts is important. So anyway, I hope everyone's having a good day today. Feel free to ask questions. I don't know what you guys are up to, but anything exciting today? So looks like we're going to have nice weather today again, so just got to have the gratitude, don't you? Just focus on what we do have. We have some nice weather at the moment. Yeah, I've got some kind of hay fever at the moment, but could be worse. Could always be worse. Whatever you're up, whatever you're going through. Thursday. It's going to be weekend soon, so you've got that to look forward to. If you're, you guys doing? Night here. That'll be be almost on Friday, won't it? So share this out if you can, guys. That would be really appreciated. If you've got anyone that you could share it out to, like friends, family, or strangers, whatever, just bear with me a second. So what you guys want to talk about? If you've got anything you want to talk about, it's up to you. This is for you guys. This is for everyone to just come together and chat and just make conversation. I'm not going to be on too long on this morning, but I'm just I'll probably do some workout later. I don't know if I'll be filming any of it, but I've been having some issues with my hands. I've been getting a lot of like calluses and stuff, and it's been kind of like the skin has been kind of like tearing, and it's so I've got to make sure I don't overdo it, because I think I've been getting a bit carried away with training and stuff, and just getting to a point where I'm just like where I'm breaking the skin open and stuff like that. You've got to obviously take care of yourself. You don't want to be like anything contentious in the news. I don't even look at the news, because to me the news is just a bunch of a lot of it's just a bunch of fear mongering or something, or just to try and kind of rile people up and just get people to pay attention, because they always put some negativity in there, don't they, with like try and sort of catch people's attention. Was it negativity tends to cause more attention than positivity? So, you know, like for example, you know, you'll get all these things about, you know, someone being killed or something, or it'd be some kind of like, you might see some, you know, headline about some, you know, racially motivated attack or some kind of motivation, whether it's you know, to do with someone's orientation or whatever it might be, to try and kind of rile people up, and it'll always like focus on these things that are like, you know, maybe it's like a 1 in a million occurrence, and it's like they just focus on that and just, you know, trying to get everyone to focus all their attention on these, you know, things that are like, yeah, it happens, but it's like it happens in a, you know, like a small amount that it's like you probably won't know anyone that it's happened to. It's just the news will just kind of skew your perceptions on things. Greta Thunberg, I think she's just I think she's kind of like a puppet. She's just like a mouthpiece for like the establishment, you could say. It's just she's pushing all the same kind of narrative of like, you know, the green, the agenda and all that. And then I think they found that they're actually hypocrites or something, because, you know, it's like they're not actually really as green as what they make out to be, and yeah, they just try and virtue signal about it all, and just I don't trust any of it. I think it's a lot of BS, really, to be honest with you. I mean, I remember when like Leonardo DiCaprio was virtue signaling whatever about being green, but yet he was like going around in a friggin' yacht or something. It's like, you know, all these people who are rich going on about being green and all that, but yet you know they probably have a much bigger carbon footprint than the average person. So yeah, so who are they to talk, really? I don't know. It's just, I feel like the whole Greta Thunberg thing is just not even like organic, because like, you know, how did she even get to be in that position? It's like it didn't happen by accident, did it? You know, so I just don't trust any of these people that just pop up in the media or whatever. I just feel like it's all fake, and just it's all some kind of theatre going on that's just all a way of, you know, kind of controlling the masses, I guess. It's anyway, but at the end of the day, there's really not much we can do about it. It's just, you know, it's this whole, you know, green agenda, whatever. It's just, but the only thing we can do is just warn people about it and say, you know, this is all what they're trying to do, Agenda 2030. But other than that, it's just, we have to just try and kind of just sort of prepare ourselves, really, and just some people are deciding to just kind of live a more simple life and just live off grid or something like that. Greta has a problem with the, oh really? I've not heard about that, but there seems to be a lot of people on the left that are, you know, kind of have a, you know, kind of problem with people from like, yeah, sort of Israel sort of thing, but some of them are not necessarily like having a problem with those people specifically, but like more so the government. So I remember there was like Jeremy Corbyn, who was, you know, he was labelled as an anti-Semite, and I'm like, but the thing is, the word Semite doesn't even just refer to Jews. So when they talk about that, it's like, it kind of, to me, seems a bit sort of an ignorant kind of thing to say. It's like, you know, whether someone is, you know, like because instead of saying someone that's anti-Jew or something, it's like, I don't know. The left has form. What do you mean? What are you saying? I just feel like the whole left and right thing is just a way of dividing people. Though. I mean, like, they both have their own problems, and it's like, you know, on the left you've got all this woke nonsense, a lot of it. And then you've got the right's got a lot of just blind patriotism and just yeah, this whole kind of like defend your country at all costs kind of thing, even if it fucking sucks. So that's kind of how I see it all. I just feel like that both sides are all just, they've all been you know, been sort of manipulated into basically both being pro-establishment, but they all think they're so anti-establishment, but yet they're actually far from that. So anyway, I mean, so I don't identify with any of these sides, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to be taking one of these sides. They give you these sides, you know, they give you the left and the right, but it's like you've got to just, you know, find your own truth, really, and not be just kind of, you know, pinned down by whatever ideology that they give to you. That's what I think. I mean, someone might have more ideas with the left or the right, but like that doesn't mean you have to identify with a particular thing, because oftentimes that could mean that you're associated with certain things, like, and it, you know, because politics is going to be quite a complicated thing, and it's like they want you to all take a side, but it's like there's a lot of nuance and stuff. But generally, I would say I'm quite someone who's actually anti-establishment and thinks that we should actually be trying to self-govern and actually just try to figure out ourselves how we want to, you know, run this place, and not be having these people decide for us, because that's when because you've got people like, you know, say, you know, Mark Passio, for example, who, you know, kind of has talked about this whole before about his version of like anarchy, for example, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a government whatsoever, but the government can't make any, you know, rules. It's that they're just there to kind of just you know, listen to what we want. You know, they would just be there for more like kind of just management of what we want them to do. If, you know, if people are paying a government to do a certain job, then they need to listen to us. You know, like, it's mad how they're forcing people to pay money to them in taxes to do stuff that they don't even want them to do. Like, for example, waging foreign wars, for example. Like, who wants them to do that? You know, not everyone wants them to do that. So we should have a say in that. You know, we should be, you know, hey, you know, like, we don't want to, you know, we don't want you to be waging war with taxpayers' money. Surely you could spend it on something better. But it's not just waging wars, there's also a lot of other things, and they're wasting their money on things, they're wasting it on, you know, pointless resources that are just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like they've been putting money into things like, what is it called? You know, like, what is it called? Anyway, but yeah, I hope everyone's well today. Share the live out if you can. That would be really appreciated. Yeah, what's it called? Something about architecture. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to think of the word that they use. Something architecture. Hostile architecture, that was it. So hostile architecture, that they're, you know, they're spending money on doing that. Because I remember they put something in, I think it was Bournemouth or something, and there's a lot of, I think it was where there was a lot of like disabled veterans that would basically been forced out onto the street, and or just homeless veterans or whatever. I mean, these are people that have served the country, and they've been meant to go out on the street, and then it's like they're trying to make this architecture to be hostile. So, for example, on these benches, they will put in like basically they'll put like a sort of rail to, like, you know, to divide the seats up or whatever. But really, they're doing it to stop people from sort of like being able to sleep on it. Now, we shouldn't have homelessness whatsoever. You know, with the thing, yeah. It shouldn't even be a thing whatsoever. I don't care what anyone says. I think that it should be completely. It shouldn't exist. I mean, like I said, there's already enough buildings for like everyone to probably be housed if we just repurpose the buildings that all these private owners have. And yeah, you might say about private ownership, but I mean, maybe we need to have some kind of vote on that. You know, maybe we need to have some kind of. You know, maybe there needs to be some vote and say, hey, should these people be allowed to have these empty buildings when they could have been repurposed as something else, whether that be for housing or whether that be for some kind of facility for something, instead of it just being there left to rot. no one claims it. Well, not claims it. I mean, it's like someone owns it, but then they like put a to let sign on it, and it's been there for years. When someone could have like lived there. That's something I don't agree with. So how long is it going to be there for? People need housing, and it's just being left there. And then we can go on about illegal immigrants and stuff like that. And obviously there is some issue with that because it can mess things up if it's not tackled. But I don't know like how much of an effect it would have. I mean, I'm not really some expert on that, but I can't see it really helping. But so for the record, I'm not against legal immigrants coming into the country if they do it right. Too much being spent on immigration. Yeah, because they're spending money to put them up, and I saw this thing about they're literally going to be basically giving subsidies to private landlords to house immigrants. So that could end up putting kind of like British people onto the street possibly if it goes like that. Unless they make it to where they can't do that, where they can't kick people out. I don't know if it's going to be for new owners or something like that. For example, if not new owners, I mean for new houses that they're buying up, let's say, and then there's nobody already in that house. That they can't. Surely they can't just kick somebody out for no good reason. But we'll have to see how it goes because I don't think they'd get away with it personally. I don't know. I would hope that there would be enough backlash against it to stop that from happening. But then again, look at what's happened. We're so with 2020 and how so many people just bought into the agenda, and it's just it sucks really. But but yeah, I hope everyone's well today. Let's get this shared out if you can. Sharing is caring. But it's just, I don't know, the government is spending so much money on pointless shit that it's there's people who need help and, and they're not giving it to them. They're favouring other people instead that don't even deserve it. What have they done to deserve it? Why is saying immigration verboten and we have to say migration? Yeah, I don't know really. Aren't they the same kind of thing? But I don't know. I just think that it's just like I said. I don't think there's anything wrong with migration, people moving to different countries. That we should be free to be able to do that and be able to go live where we want, to be able to travel, be able to decide maybe we want to stay for a year somewhere, and we just have the freedom to be able to just do that. I don't see anything wrong with that. But it's when people try to take advantage and but they also then try to impose their kind of laws into the country, because there's this thing where they could possibly end up doing that where because I don't know, it's just something that could possibly happen. But I'm not I don't want to just be some kind of fearmonger or anything like that. It's just we obviously have to just be vigilant about things though. So yeah. So anyway, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Hit that like button, guys. I don't know how many likes we're on at the moment, but yeah, just help me out here, guys. Try and get this pushed out more. So, every little helps. So yeah, so everybody that comes in, just give it a like. We had over 100 likes on one of my shorts actually. So yeah, the term is immigration. Migration suggests they'll go back. Right? Is that true? Yeah, because you've got birds migrate, don't they? Say in winter they'll migrate south to kind of get warmer or something. So that makes sense. So yeah. whereas immigration, that, what you mean, you're saying that means that, yeah, so I mean, anyway, I don't know, I just feel like, they're putting out a lot of stuff to kind of like scare people as well, like, to get everyone to like panic and start freaking out. I mean, so I try not to kind of like buy into all the narratives. I like chicken. Why? I mean, how you doing, Adrian? Anyway, I mean, like the animals, yeah. Like I mean, the chickens and roosters and all that. Anyway, share this out, guys, if you can. Yeah, just yeah. How many likes are we on now on this live? But I don't want to keep focusing on kind of negative stuff, because like I said before, the more you focus on all that, then the more you just kind of like keep on bringing that about, sort of I'm freaking out, man. Oh really? Anyway, so yeah, I didn't put the monetization on, so let's just do that. Doesn't really matter anyway, because I make like 1 pence from the live streams. Alright, we're on 2 likes for real. That can't be right, surely. 2 likes? You got to be kidding me, right? Surely we've had more people like come in the chat than that. So let's see. 2 likes. Hang on, 2 likes. What the fuck? Surely we should be doing more than 2 likes. Come on. Come on, guys. What is going on here? Like, it says we've had 124 views on this live. So how is it we've only got 2 likes on it? Fucking hell. God, good sake, guys. Nah, I mean... Nah, I wouldn't. Adrian, nah. Anyway. But anyway, hope everyone's well. Just keep the chat flowing, guys. So yeah. Just try and help me out get here, guys, because yeah, we're only on 2 likes, guys. Come on, guys, someone just yeah, yeah. I don't know. It says 3 on my end. Well, it's probably because I haven't liked my own live. But yeah, that's here we go. I can't do that from here, so I'll just all right. But even so, it's low. I don't know what, I guess everyone's just kind of scrolling or whatever. Maybe it's just the time of day, I don't know. And people are just scrolling and they don't have time to just like the live or something. It takes like 1 second to do, but whatever. Anyway, so what's everybody's plans for today then? Anyone doing anything interesting? It's probably just doing some more working out today. I know I've been getting kind of carried away with it, but I'm trying to make progress as fast as I can. Of course, I try to prioritize recovery as well. I do some like meditation, stuff like that, so I can just recover my muscles, so I'm not overdoing it. So yeah, because that's just as important. The recovery is just as important. You've also got nutrition. That's also very important as well. Because some people try and do all this training and stuff and make dog shit results because their nutrition sucks. Like the stream you complete. yeah, that's going to help, isn't it? By calling people bastards. Yeah. So would you say like bastard is a swear word? Because some say it's like a swear word, but even though it's technically like is it like in the English dictionary it means like an illegitimate? Well, you've got a bastard son, which is an illegitimate son or something, but yeah. Oh yeah, why did the chicken cross the road? This is a joke, guys, so why did the chicken cross the road? Anyone know this one? Why did the chicken cross the road? Can anyone answer this one? Why did the chicken cross the road? Yeah, who else have we got in here then? We've got a lot of lurkers it seems this morning, so maybe say hello or something, and yeah, just we've got 5 people in the house, so yeah, if you don't mind, just maybe just say hello or something. So why did the chicken cross the road? Come on guys, why did the chicken cross the road? To see its flatmate. Oh yeah, that was one, but why did chicken cross the road? To get away from KFC. But yeah, I've heard that one as well. I think the one I used was why did the hedgehog cross the road? I mean, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, you can use different like animals for that as well. But yeah, there was like why did the whale cross the road to get to the other tide? Yeah, why did the seaman cross the road? This one's great. Why did the seaman cross the road? Yeah, because I remember it was on, I think it was the foul bachelor frog meme. If anyone's seen that one, it's quite a funny meme, that one. Yeah, why did the seaman cross the road? Anyway, just keep the chat flowing, guys. Yeah, just if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. This is for you guys, so yeah, if you want to interact and all that, just just don't feel shy, just anyway. So yeah, so we've got what is it? Why did the seaman cross the road? Does anyone know this one? Where's everyone from? Yeah, I'm from my mother's womb. Yeah. Anton is from Australia. It's like, say, Anton. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the weather is not great at the moment. It's like saying it's like kind of cold. It's like bloody freezing. Yeah, I remember it was like, what was it called? Steve Irwin. It was like a kind of, from Austria. Is that Steve Irwin? I think he was an Australian guy or something, wasn't he? Like it was didn't he get killed he got stung or something by a stingray or something like that, if I remember, but I don't know, he just got carried away with like, it was a bit of like a daredevil in a sense, where we're just kind of, yeah, some people get carried away with things and just, they just don't like kind of really think so much about the consequences. It's a bit silly to be doing all that kind of stuff, really. It was a stingray, yeah. It was yeah, it was like the dangerous stuff, aren't they? Like yeah. It's like, when you're in the sea and stuff, and even like rivers and things, that, when you're, it's dangerous places. You got all sorts of, you can have all sorts of stuff in there. You can have like all sorts of creatures in there, piranhas, friggin'. Then you get them in the, so like in some of these countries, like Central America, South America, and then obviously Australia, you've got like, you get all your crocodiles and all these, some kind of crazy shit that, like, crocodiles are some scary, animals, aren't they, like, and hippos as well, like, there's just some real, like, scary animals out there, aren't there? It's like, people think that we're, like, the top of the food chain, really, but I think maybe that's a bit of a arrogant sort of, I don't know. I mean, in some ways you could say we are, because we can just because we've got the brains and but it's like, the thing is that if we get too kind of arrogant about things, we can end up actually getting fucked up, because there's this whole thing, because it kind of happens on a smaller scale as well, like the whole thing of, what is it called? Pride often comes before a fall. You think yourself as so if you think yourself as like a, like an apex predator, then you might end up just getting yourself killed, because you think that you're invincible, but you're not. Yeah, we have the brains and we can outsmart all these animals and we can come up with weapons that they can't, but just because of that doesn't mean that we're invincible. Everyone knows where they were when they heard the news here. What do you mean? I don't get you. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're all well. Let's get this shared out, guys, if you can, please. Sharing is caring. Let's have a drink. What are you saying, Anton? Or Anton? So they have a way of saying their A's, don't they? Like when there's like a... It's like they'll say, instead of pants, it's like paints. It's like you're saying paint. Like paints. Like, I'm wearing paints. The death of Steve Owen. I don't even know where it was. What do you mean? Yeah, it was. How long ago was that? It was a long time ago, that, wasn't it? Steve Owen. Yeah. Yeah, has anyone ever seen Crocodile Dundee? It was that was an Australian thing. It was the funny bit in it where like I can't remember which one it was, but I think it might have been the second one where I think it was some Chinese people where they mistook him for being Clint Eastwood, and they go, "Oh look, it's Clint Eastwood." It's like it's just like where they like mistook it. And then there's also that bit where, of course, there's that thing where someone pulls a knife out on him, and then there's that classic scene where it's like, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." I can't remember exactly how it was said because apparently there's a Mandela effect or something. It was Australia's JFK moment. What do you mean? Are you saying about that it was some kind of, something fishy about it? No pun intended. Yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone's well. Feel free to ask questions, guys. But yeah, I know in Australia there's a lot of guys called Bruce and Dan. I think those are like probably the two most common names, aren't they, in Australia? You've got Bruce and you've got Dan. Yeah. Hello, Reluctant Gamer. How are you today? What would be the other common names? Is Anton quite a Ant? So do people call you Ant for short, or they call you Anton? I'm guessing Ant's short for Anton, right? I mean, because we've got Anton Deck, so is it Ant? I'm wondering if it's a bit like Anthony, I guess, wouldn't it? Like Anthony, usually, isn't it? Or Anthony. Well, I mean, some like have TH, but then some say Anthony, some say Anthony. I don't know. But then there's also Anthony without the H. It's a bit confusing, really, because hi, Runner Boy, how you doing? History stopping moment, at least for patriotic Australians. Oh yeah, because it's like it was quite one of those moments of like, where it's like nothing's the same after that kind of thing. Anyway, how are you? Are you doing any workout today, Runner Boy? Then, or what's your plans? But yeah, we're on 157 views, which is actually not too bad for a morning live. So yeah, we just gotta try and keep going with this stuff, really. But yeah, I hope everyone's well. So I'm wondering if like maybe I've just been doing it a bit too much, and then it ends up kind of, I don't know, not pushing it out as much. Let's say if I'm going live for like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours daily, I don't know whether that's a good idea. I don't know. Hello, Max, how are you doing? No problem. Hope you're doing fine. Yeah, I'm alright, thank you. Just been getting some like these calluses. I had some my skin was tearing the other day, so yeah, gotta be a bit careful. You're going on these like bars and stuff, and you don't want to overdo it, because then you just end up messing yourself up. Oh yeah, Adrian, right? I thought at first it was some kind of troll or something. I mean, I don't know, because it sounds like a troll name, doesn't it? Adrian fucks. It's like, is that for real? I mean, that's funny if that's an actual name. Oh yeah, it's funny. I was looking at this thing the other day, right? And there's a place near Bolton called Knob End. I'm not lying. Go look it up. There's literally a place called Knob End. It's spelled N-O-B, like end, like Knob End. It's like, what the hell? Why would you name a place Knob End? That just sounds silly. But anyway, I mean, there's some names like that of places that are like, why did you call it that? That's just ridiculous. No pun intended, ridiculous. Oh, it's Fox in English, it's German. Oh, really? Huh, we learn something new every day. It's kind of like, in Japan, some of the words sound like swear words, like, Fukushima, or shitaki. So, you know, it sounds like you're swearing, innit? You know, it's like, you think everyone a troll, you probably think I'm a troll. I mean, I don't know, I'm just like, it's just, this guy was like, kept coming in going about chicken or something. It's like, what? It just seemed like the way he was talking was like a troll. And the name sounded like a troll as well. It's just, town here called Tittybong. Oh, really? Yeah. There's a lot of names like, that can sound a bit vulgar, but, it's just my sort of juvenile mind, I guess, that sees it that way, you know. But anyway, how are you doing, Runner Boy? You still there? Yeah, I noticed you seem to be a bit quiet sometimes. I guess you've been a bit busy or something, but yeah, so just keep the chat flowing, guys. Just kind of a drink. Yeah, so like I said the other day, I started on this beta-alanine, and I'm just going to see how it goes. I want to see what kind of my time is on like the rowing 1,000 meters. So I want to try and get really good at that, because my last time I did was like 3 minutes and 54. I haven't done it since, but I want to see if I can slash that time down. Apparently the world record, it was like 2 minutes and 38 or something like that. So if I could even get it down to like below 3:30 or something like that, that would be really cool. All good, just woke up. Alright, no worries. Yeah, still early, I suppose. It's like, well, it's not that early, but yeah, a bit of a late start today, is it? Something. But yeah, we all have that sometimes, don't we? I guess. I don't usually have a late start, to be honest. I mean, I usually tend to get up about the same time. I'm going to test out low bar squats before my deadlifts. Yeah, it said to work similar to deadlifting because of it's more like a hip hinge movement pattern rather than like the kind of standard like high bar high bar squat. So yeah, I mean, it could be a sort of like have a bit more kind of translatability to deadlifting rather than squat. So yeah. But I don't know whether maybe you could even lift heavier with that, because then the grip isn't as much of isn't going to be a factor, I guess. I don't know, but it depends, because it might be higher. Is it more range of motion with low bar squats? I guess it depends how deep you're going with it. So I'm just wondering what you think about that. What time you usually wake up to do working out in the morning? I mean, I don't usually do workout in the morning. I usually do it in the afternoon. Actually, I saw this thing about how working out in the morning might not be the best idea. I don't know how true this is, but because like cortisol is higher in the morning, that it might actually, that people found apparently that they're stronger in the evening, if anything. But I'd say afternoon's probably good as well. But they reckon that like morning time might not be the best, because it's like you're not warmed up properly. You're not. Maybe use like all this cortisol, and you're everything's kind of still a bit asleep as well. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it could be a I don't know, but yeah, it's just they reckon that it might be better in the evening than morning. But what do you guys think? Listening to any good music lately? Yeah, I listen to different stuff sometimes. It's just yeah. I always see people in the morning at gym chock blocked 5 a.m. till 8 a.m. maybe because they work 9 to 5, not sure. Yeah, but like I said, maybe it's better for evening possibly, but that's true. Jamie, morning workouts are harder, but it's specifically for men. What do you mean? In about it's more hard for men than it is for women in the morning or something. Is that what you're saying, or I'm not sure what you're getting at there, but yeah, I guess you could still get done what you need to do, but arguably it could be a bit more. Because if you're, say, like stronger or whatever, then you might get more out of the workout possibly. That you might be able to push more intensity and have a better quality session in a shorter amount of time. I don't know. I think morning sounds better because you're waking up and getting your heart and blood flowing for the day. Yeah, but you don't necessarily want to be, jacking up your adrenaline first thing in the morning necessarily. I think easing into the day is probably the better way, and then doing it at the end of the day as a way to kind of finish off, and then then you can just get a good sleep after that, because a lot of people will say work out in the morning. They'll then, because they can't necessarily go to sleep after that, so it might mess things up a bit. I don't know. It kind of, in a way, it kind of makes more sense to work out later in the day. So yeah, well, most of my workouts are in the morning, but for views, KM doing them a bit later. What do you mean? Yeah, I noticed she was doing a lot of them around morning to like early afternoon sort of time, but yeah, I guess it depends on each person. Some people might like but I would say like for morning, it could be good to have like a cold shower or something to wake you up. But they say you don't even need that. You can just do put your head into water for cold water for 30 seconds. I've heard that can help wake you up if you're ever feeling kind of groggy. So you might not even need to drink caffeine if you just do that possibly. I think I'd rather take it easy in the morning than once ready to go to the gym, whether it's a couple of hours after waking up. Yeah, because you can still feel a bit groggy for a couple of hours. It depends on each individual, because some people are like morning, what they call them, early birds and all that, and whatever they call them, they tend to be like the you get like the night owls, and you get the you know what I mean. I struggle shower cold water, but they say just 30 seconds of putting your head in the cold water is enough. Surely you can deal with that, right? It's only 30 seconds. It's just and you'll have to put your whole body in it. Apparently, it's just a way to give yourself a shock. Because if you've ever had someone throw water at you, it just suddenly just wakes you up. It's like it's putting an alarm to the body sort of thing. But then again, I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea either, because again, like I said, it's probably best to naturally let your body wake up. But it's just some people have become too reliant on caffeine, I think. I was talking about this the other day. If you absolutely need it, then drink it in the morning, because drinking it after the morning is not a good idea, because it can affect sleep. So, because the irony is if you're trying to do it for the workouts and stuff, but then it could actually hinder your sleep, which might actually end up making things worse. So, but yeah. Anyway, so how are we doing today, everybody? I hope you're all well. Yeah, Wim Hof. I don't know what to think of it. I just feel like he's another one of these guys I feel like is kind of one of these gurus that people are looking up to, and I just feel like I don't know. I feel like some of the benefits have been a bit exaggerated possibly, and just I think it's been a bit overhyped, some of these movements and stuff, where they go on about all the health benefits of a certain thing. It's I don't know, I just feel like you could get some benefits from it, like I said, but there's other ways of getting that as well. Even going in a sauna, you can get some benefits from that. But the thing with cold showers is that you can actually end up messing up your workouts if you do it straight after a workout. Apparently that can interfere with the results of it, because it's actually the inflammation from the workout that actually gets you to helps you recover and all that. So no point it doesn't even give me energy. I don't notice water best source. Yeah, some people say they feel an energy from caffeine, but they also would probably get that if they just got a good night's sleep or something. I did the Wim Hof method for a full year and felt great. Oh, that's good then. But like, it depends, I guess, on like, hello, Mr. Cool Guy 404. But I suppose there's more to it, like with the breathing and stuff. But it's like, you know, if you're doing like cardio and stuff like that, then you're doing exercise. It could be then I don't know if you would need to do all this extra stuff. But it's just, a lot of people out there are trying to look for hacks for their health, but they should focus on the fundamentals, I think. I've not tried an ice bath, no. Yes, I did everything breathing and cold, right? But it said though about like this cold shower thing, a cold bath, that you should not do it after a workout because that can interfere with the results. I don't know how much, but it said so if you're looking to max out like your muscle gains and stuff like that and recovery, then do it at least 4 to 6 hours after a workout. So you probably would rather do it in the morning than on depending on what time you're doing your workout. So anyway, that's just what I've heard. So, but maybe it's something for people to try. I mean, I've done the odd cold showers and stuff, but I just don't like doing them, to be honest. It's really like, it's such a minute difference. Oh, really? Well, I thought you said it was like, you said that you felt great. So what do you mean a minute difference? What are you saying? Or you're on about in terms of the recovery? Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. But I'd still say like, kind of probably be smart with the timing of it. If you can still do it, if you can do it at a certain time, but then still get the benefits from it and still, kind of make the same amount of muscle gains or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not that much of a difference. Yeah, cold showers. You reckon cold showers are a lot harder than a cold bath? Why is that then? Because I would have thought a cold bath would be harder because because it's like surrounding your entire body. But I've never done. Are you about just a cold bath, or you talk about like ice bath? I thought like the ice bath would be the most difficult one. Because literally don't they literally have like ice in the bath or something to make it even colder or something? And I've actually done stuff in like cold weather, but it was like gill scrambling. It was like in the winter, and it was but we had this kind of wetsuit on. For like the first few minutes, it was like super cold, but then after that, it wasn't bad because the heat from your body then sort of like warms up that thin layer of water, so you actually get that. But ice bath thought would be most difficult, right? Well, the water is flowing over you. I suppose you mean in terms of like that water's like hitting your skin and all that. It's like, it's like kind of it's like impacting your body and all that, and it's you're getting that sort of Whereas you're saying with like you go into like a cold bath, it's different or something. But yeah, the whole like cold shower thing, I don't know. It's like what Fitness Hutch was saying it, because he was saying that he didn't like it because he felt like it just, he got some benefit from it, but he felt like it wasn't worth it. Well, that's what he was saying, but obviously everybody's different. So, but like he was saying I don't know. So I think there is something to it. It's just moving water is colder than still water. If you stay still in a cold bath, it's easy. If you move, it's hard, right? Yeah, makes sense. I need to take showers, so I might check cold shower, but I can't last. Maybe I need to try harder. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's like a kind of what's it? You know, you gotta have that willpower to do it. But what I'm saying is that, you know, if you struggle with that, there's other ways of, you know, getting the same kind of effects of like some of the benefits from it. Just doing regular exercise will be something you can do to improve your mood by doing things like cardio and all kinds of different, you know, things like you just, you know, like cycling, running, whatever. Just yeah, find things that, you know, you can sort of yeah. Anyway, so how are we doing, people? I hope you're all well. Anyway, just yeah, just keep the chat flowing, guys. It doesn't have to be freezing. Try lukewarm first, then room temp. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just kind of like easing yourself into it. Another thing might be that, like, if you try to go down to like freezing cold like straight away, that might not be a good idea. Like, yeah, if you just like say you're going from like a hot shower down to, like, because some people say to like do hot to cold to hot to cold, but some people are going to really struggle with that. Now, there's said to be some benefits. In fact, they say there's benefits of going from a hot sauna to almost straight away going into a cold shower or a cold plunge. And I'm like, is that really a good idea? That sounds like, I don't know, maybe as long as you're giving a little bit of break between the two, but it's that contrast. I don't know. Some people's bodies might not react well to that. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're all well. Hot to cold can make you ill. Yeah, I think it's too much contrast on the body. Perhaps the body can only deal with like so much. Like, hello, disabled lady on BBC One. That okay? Welcome in. How are you today? I hope you're well. Yeah, well, I don't know with that name, but what Wim Hof would do after doing all his cold stuff is sit in a sauna for a few minutes, so he ends with warm. Oh yeah, aren't you 30 in July? How do you know? Yes, I will be, but how do you know that? I don't even know you. I didn't even know that you know me. It's like you just come in the chat and then, okay, well, I don't even know who you are, so yeah, it's just when you've got names like that you don't even put your real name there. I'm probably just gonna, I might have to just get rid of you if you're some troll or something, because I have a feeling that you're just some troll. So I don't know. I'm just okay. Well, thank you, but I'm just worried about some of these channels and stuff. So, but I was put warm then work. I'll be 30 next month. Why? Stay there and don't heat back up. Yeah, I'm gonna be 30 in July. So yeah. Some people like are surprised or whatever, but you know, I've kind of like just yeah. I don't know. I guess I give off a kind of vibe that I'm not that old or something to some people, but it's literally like the last few years I've not really kind of aged at all, I think, but yeah. Alright, I wouldn't have guessed you were near 30. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, because, like, I think it's just, a lot of it comes down to, like, habits and stuff like that, because I've hardly ever drank alcohol or anything like that, and I think I just had, like, when I was about, like, kind of, certain celebrations and all that, oh yeah, eternal youth, that's what it is, isn't it, you know? Like, when it's like you're doing all these, like, you know, all these people doing these sort of habits, like going out all night, partying and getting drunk, whatever. maybe they're vaping or whatever, smoking, they're, you know, stressing out their body. It's like, these things all add up over years. So, this is all I promote here is like, it's about longevity and like, it's about just doing the right thing, because the problem is that people have this kind of moderation mindset where it's like, oh, well, it's okay if I do it in moderation. But if you think like that, then you think like that about everything probably. So like, they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. So you don't be like, oh, well, it's okay if I go out drinking in moderation. And then they might think, well, it's okay if I eat bad food in moderation. Oh, it's okay if I, you know, do something else at party in moderation. Or it's like, you see what I mean? It's like, they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. That the mindset you have on one thing is generally how you're gonna, what you have on everything. So it's about kind of, I mean, some might say, well, it's toxic to have this kind of all or nothing mindset on things, but the problem is that it's easy to fall off if you have this kind of moderation mindset where it's like, oh, well, just, it's okay to let yourself go at times, because then it's a slippery slope and you can end up applying it to a lot of different areas of your life in terms of not being so kind of, you know, committed to whatever you're doing. For example, you might be trying to work on some business or something like that, and you're like, oh, well, you know, I can just let go of moderation. You see, I was reading stuff about nurses saying people who drink had the most gruesome deaths. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, that stuff can mess up your liver and other organs as well. I mean, in fact, I reckon that my grandfather actually, the drinking probably contributed. I mean, he was generally quite healthy, other than he had some heart issues, right? He had to, actually, some reckon that might not have actually been true, Anton. I did hear somewhere he ate pigeon pie, so I don't know. But anyway, I don't know enough. I mean, it's just, a lot of it's just hearsay, but anyway. But yeah, so what was I saying about, but yeah, my grandfather, he was quite a heavy drinker, like you could maybe say he was even borderline alcoholic. Hello Vic, how you doing today? I hope you're well. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. So my grandfather was you could say a borderline alcoholic. He would drink a lot, like he would drink whiskey, so it was like quite hard stuff, you know, like pretty much like 40% alcohol stuff, you know. And then, well, obviously he would dilute it and all that with lemonade, but sometimes, you know, he would literally only he would probably fill it up quite a bit and then just mix some lemonade in it. And yeah, he would literally down like a whole bottle of it in like most days of the week actually. And then sometimes they used to go out for like, you know, at the club or whatever, and he'd get really drunk and stuff. So it all added up over the years, I think, and it probably didn't help the heart health, because they say like it can strain your heart, because, you know, all that kind of pressure on all that, you know, sort of having to deal with all the toxins and all that. So being clean is best for aging. My dad, 67, never smoked and can still very healthy. My uncle smoked till 45. Now he's 67. He can barely walk down the street without taking a break and going to hospital a lot. Yeah, it can help, but the thing is, obviously, genetics are going to play a part, but we can't just say like, oh, well, you know, it's all genetics. It's not. Because I feel like some people just use that as some kind of excuse. Vic says my dad's 76. So it's like my grandmother was 75 when she passed away, but she had a lot of like heart problems. She had a lot of other problems as well. She was quite overweight. So yeah, my grandfather was 83 when he passed away. So yeah, so he ended up getting like dementia, and I think that the heavy drinking might have contributed to that, because then he had all these heart problems. He used to try and keep himself somewhat active in his older years, but like, I think that probably contributed. like the drinking a lot, because it can, yeah, it's said that heavy drinking can do that. So it possibly, who knows, he could have been still alive now if he had have kept everything clean. Because he was actually quite slim, right? He was never fat or anything like that. It was just that he drank a lot. But I think that him trying to stay active actually kept him going longer. I reckon he probably would have gone sooner if it wasn't for him doing his like daily walks and doing, he would try to do gardening and stuff like that, even, when he got into like his 70s and, not genetic. I mean, there's a genetic component where you'll hear of somebody, say, like, who does everything right and still passes away early, but yet you'll get someone, because I think my grandma was saying that, like, two brothers, one of them has, not the best lifestyle, but he's still alive now, and I think he's, like, in his 80s now. I think he's, like, in his kind of, like, late 80s now. And but her other brother, apparently he didn't really do. I think he might have smoked a little bit, but he generally didn't have a bad lifestyle. But he died a lot sooner, and I don't know everything about it. I mean, but they reckon that genetics loads the gun, and lifestyle pulls the trigger, is what they say in most cases. That if you've got bad genetics, then that means that you have a lot less leeway in terms of messing up your body, because it's going to turn that on switch of things like diabetes a lot easier, or heart disease or anything like that. But if you keep your lifestyle good, then you're more likely to be able to delay that sort of stuff from happening. But there's still a chance that can happen if you even just have some moderate kind of at 3:38:20 this morning. Are you on about the watch hours? I thought you was only about 50 away or something. But my Native American grandmother died at 65 from cirrhosis. Is that from drinking? Because isn't cirrhosis a liver thing? Never had a drink. Oh, really? All right. I guess like stuff can happen, but it's like, I guess you could say, well, nowadays we have a bit more kind of things that we can help people out, let's say, with certain medicines and certain treatments that if someone ever starts to get certain symptoms, we can keep them going. But then again, it's like, would you even want to, or something? Oh, it's genetic. But like, I don't know. Like, I mean, that's kind of like you could say like an outlier, you could say. But we're talking, that's like kind of like more extreme examples, you could say. Like, you've got people with like heart defects who are pretty much destined to only live till probably about middle age or something, which is really unfortunate. But if we're talking general, like, lifestyle is probably going to be the most determining factor for most people. But of course, there's like I said, there's outliers who their genetics are what's that, heart murmurs. Oh yeah, some people literally have like holes in their heart, and that can really mess them up. And yeah, cause there was this bodybuilder called Ziz, who was like there was this guy who was, he was like this bodybuilder, and it was obviously on steroids, and because he got big muscles quite quick. Well, he wasn't massive, but it was like he got big, and he was also like really lean and all that, and he was this influencer. And they then later found him dead, and he was like 22 years old. And what happened, right? He did steroids, and also I think they found him dead in I think it was a sauna in Thailand. So I wonder if the sauna also played a part as well. But the steroids was part of it. But the thing is, they found that he actually had I think it was like a heart defect or something, and it was like a family thing of the steroids will they say it can actually grow the heart. So it's because the problem is that it doesn't just grow the muscles, but also grows the heart, because the heart is a muscle. So that's the problem, is you can't really control. at least not now. I don't know if at some point they might be able to selectively. I know there's a thing called SARMs or something that some reckon they're safer, but then again, it's all experimental stuff, and I would stay away from anything like that. Then if you're doing like that, you just don't know what it's going to do long term, because there just isn't enough data on it to. When you're messing around with nature like that, and you're putting all these unnatural substances in your body, especially if you haven't had any kind of like screening for any kind of for any sort of heart problems or other problems, whether it be lungs or anything like that. So I would suggest, at the very least, you should be like screening to make sure that you've not got any like defects, because I would say stay away from it anyway, because it's just not even worth it. Because another thing with steroids is that the problem is that your tendons and ligaments, they will fall behind. Like what happens is when you're natural, I think they still don't. It's still not quite as fast as the muscles grow, but with steroids it's even more exaggerated. So it's important that you just be careful of that. So blood work is important to make sure that you've got. Vic says that's it. If you're doing this high, because a lot of them do super high volume training, like when they're doing the roids, and they're constantly wearing their muscles, or they're doing really high loads where they're getting really strong, and their tendons, they can't deal with all that. And especially if they're doing all this ego lifting and they're doing things and really just sloppy. And creatine, I do that. I've also just started doing beta-alanine, which is not really for building muscle, but it's meant to help with muscular endurance. So it can help with improving your basically like long sprint to like middle distance, that kind of zone, anything between about 30 seconds up to about 10 minutes or so, where lactic acid is produced basically as an energy source. Lactic acid isn't actually bad. People think lactic acid is bad. But what's this? Your Hims helps circulation. Is that some like herbal thing, is it, or something? It's like I've been hearing a lot of different things that people use, like nitric oxide for circulation. But I've actually been looking at, because I was wondering whether the nasal breathing could help, or the humming, but then I couldn't find anything to support that, even though. Oh, it's a root, alright. Because I was like, well, if nasal breathing, if nitric oxide helps with circulation, helps with VO2 max and all that, then I would think, well, if nasal breathing and humming helps with nitric oxide production, then it stands to reason that can help with indirectly with improved VO2 max and all that. I don't know for sure, but but I couldn't find anything on it. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that. Is there anything to that? Because is that some kind of you could call it a biohack or whatever to improve that? Your oxygen levels low. They're not low. I'm just in terms of optimization for sport, because obviously when it comes to improving, say output, improving speed and endurance, then you want to enhance that. You want to. I'm just looking to optimize, because I want to not leave any stone unturned, is what I'm saying. So. I mean, I don't have low oxygen, absolutely. I mean, but the thing is, though, building muscle, there's one of the downsides of building muscle. It can actually decrease your VO2 max due to because you have more demands on the muscle than the more demands on the body, having to move more mass, that's going to take more energy, which means that more oxygen is required. So yes, most definitely it helps optimize your system, recover. You're on about nitric oxide, so maybe it's more for like, so I have seen something about recovery, and I saw something about it's like anti-catabolic or something, if I remember. I don't know how true that is, but I remember seeing somewhere, I think it might have been Pygmy was doing something. He does some kind of like crazy experiments with sometimes, like it's quite fun watching his channel sometimes. But yeah, he does some like he did this one where he tensed up his entire body for an hour, I think, or something like that. It's like he'll do some crazy challenges, but yeah, a lot of it isn't necessary, but he just does it to kind of as an experiment, really. But yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of things I've been trying to do, like meditation, more for like recovery. But I think there's other benefits as well for like, in terms of just the neurological and the mental health benefits of it. Dead muscle cells generate gas, right? In about like senescent cells, because that's what's that? DMT. What, dimethyltryptamine? You're on about the friggin' stuff that's in ayahuasca. So what you're saying, dead muscle cells generate gas. Because I've heard about senescent cells being bad, but I've heard that exercise can help to limit the amount of that by a thing called apoptosis, which is a programmed cell. Basically, programs, basically like it's a, what is it called? It's a, the body will just kind of like kill off all the dead cells, essentially. Well, there is a thing called autophagy, which is your body eating like dead parts of cells to recycle them. Oxygen revitalizes dead cells with creatine. Alright. So what you're saying is that they're not dead, but they're like, hang on. So what we're trying to say here, like, I've heard creatine helps to repair the ATP molecule or something like that. I mean, I might be getting it all wrong, but I've heard something about the ATP molecule, which is good for like short bursts. Like, say if you're doing a 100-meter sprint, you're primarily using the, the ATP system, which is it's like you're on pure adrenaline. You're in that sort of, that's your like fastest burst of energy that you'll ever have. Anything after that then goes into glycolytic system, which is like the second fastest. It's more of kind of like that lactic acid that I was talking about. So it's three different systems, and then you've got the oxidative system, which is for like long distance stuff, really. But yeah, so there's different types of muscle fibers and all that. Hello, Mr. X. What steroids do you take? I don't take steroids. I just do creatine and just train. It's for regeneration, right? See what? So you can't bring dead cells back to life. Cause it sounded like you're talking revitalizing dead cells. You're just on about like dormant cells. Is that more of like the word for it? But I've heard this thing about, there's a thing called the Hayflick limit, which is like there's a limit in terms of how many times the cells can divide until they become senescent. I think it's to do with like, you know, every time a cell divide, the telomeres get shorter, or it gets toxins out. So is that like a sort of, is that like autophagy you're talking about, or Mr. X says no way, don't like, we can see the size in your delts, so you definitely take Tren and Debo. Oh really? I mean, I'm not like a massive, I mean, I'm a tall guy, so I'm just naturally have quite broad shoulders, so Yeah. Anyway, so but yeah, so is it? Let's have a look at this Yohib. I don't know how you pronounce it, but let's just have a look and Yohib. Is it an autophagy booster or something? Because some people say like by fasting that can help, but the problem with fasting is that if you do it too much, it can actually slow down muscle growth and even cause muscle wasting if you do it too much. So I hear a lot of people have been talking about it. And what's GHG? Sorry. So it's a bark apparently. It says may have a limited impact on autophagy. So we're talking like recycling waste, which sounds like what you was talking about. So yeah, I mean I'm just looking at so what's the GHG? Is it a supplement or something, or what are your thoughts on rhodiola? Hi AKMSPM, how you doing? Human growth hormones. I don't really want to be taking unnatural stuff like that. I mean, that sounds a bit kind of and to me it's cheating, so I'd rather just not do that. So what's this? Hang on, I was just I don't want to be doing HGH. That's what you meant, but yeah, synthetic stuff. I mean, you could argue like creatine is not natural, but you can get creatine from food though. You can also get beta-alanine from food, so it's like in that sense it's more natural. But like if you're taking stuff that's like these exogenous stuff that's like say not found naturally in the body or something, like for example SARMs or Tren or whatever, or D-bol, anabol, whatever kind of nonsense, then yeah, I don't know why you were suggesting doing growth hormone, but it's better than ZRT. What's ZRT? Anyway, but it's just I've seen a lot of stuff on like, oh, you know about TRT, people going on about taking TRT, and I'm like, I don't like how it's been pushed out so much. Like there's people like, for example, James Smith, who's like he's on TRT now. I'm wondering if it's just, I mean, he's been partnered up with it or something and is promoting TRT. I don't know, I think he was it was almost like been promoting it. Oh, he's 43. He's been like promoting TRT, and it's like I don't really agree with this whole thing. It's like because there's a lot of like impressionable. It is, but it's like you're putting testosterone. Could that be like down-regulating your own testosterone or something? Because I've heard like if you're messing around with that, then because a lot of these people don't even need it. They're already having a good amount of testosterone. They say like 700 or whatever. It's like you don't need, if you've got 700, then you don't need to be doing that. Even 500 probably. If you're below say like 300 or something like that, or 400. Then you might want to, if it's below that reference range, then you qualify to get it. But the problem is a lot of shady companies trying to like, that will just kind of give you a prescription for it, even though you shouldn't qualify. Because the thing is, apparently, right, depending on what time of day they do the test, they'll actually show a different result. Say because testosterone peaks and troughs throughout the day. So if they test during like the evening, for example, then it's going to be lower because of my T levels are off the chart. But then it's like, is that a good idea though? Because if it's say above what would be naturally produced, then how is that a good thing? I mean, like, I think we're only supposed to have a certain level of testosterone, but each to their own, I guess. I mean, I'd just say I'd rather people would just kind of look at optimizing the testosterone first through natural means. If that's, for whatever reason, not possible to like get it up to a good amount, then, for example, some people have defects or whatever, where they're like, whatever it is, it's some people have an inhibition or whatever it is, something in their body like can't remember, but it was some kind of thing where some people do not produce enough testosterone. I think it's what is it called? Hypogonadism. It's like an actual condition that some people have. In that case, I can say that that's. I'm 5'10", 180 pounds with no health issues. I'm pretty sure you could probably get to that level naturally without any substances if you do everything right. Like the actual cutoff, they reckon is about 25 ffmi as a natural builder. But the thing is that I don't know if he's like trying to just stay lean all the time or something, but yeah, for an American that's rare. Yeah, for America maybe, like, because Americans really, their health really sucks. So what's your diet like? Do you have a lot of like healthy foods and stuff like that, or? I'm not American, I'm British. Anyway, how are we doing, people? Anyway, I hope you're all well. I'll just show you where we're at, right? So yeah, so this is my body. You know, that's where we're at. You know, I'm not like anything crazy or anything like that, but definitely above average anyway. I fast once a week. So like, how long do you fast for? I think if you don't fast for more than say like 16 to like 20 hours at a time, then that's probably fine. It's just when you're fasting for like longer than like a day, that's when you can end up, because if you're not giving yourself the protein, then the body then is going to then start eating its own muscle. you're 36. Hang on. 36 hours. That is quite long. So, do you think that might be the best idea? Because maybe if, say, like, you don't do long as fast, then maybe that can. Yeah, it's just like we need to keep feeding ourselves to then produce testosterone, I believe. Otherwise, you know, your body's not getting. If your body's not getting the nutrition, then it's like the body will start to downregulate the hormones because it's in a survival mode at a certain point. So that's what I would have thought anyway. So I'm wondering if that's why you feel like the need to do that. I don't know, just because that's like 1.5 days on a fast. So is that like no food whatsoever? I would at least say try and, you know, maybe eat some protein during the fast, because I think protein is like, I think that, because I remember like Seamland was talking about this on eating protein during like even during the fasted window to try and make sure to keep providing your body with that stimulus. You'd still get some of the benefits from the fast, but you would you'd still be able to stimulate growth in the muscle. On average, yesterday I was hungry, so I cut it to 24 hours. Right, okay. Well, you gotta listen to your body, but like, I would just feel like I would be kind of not able to, I probably wouldn't be able to like make as much progress if I kept doing fasts and stuff. I have to constantly be like eating a lot, so I used to fast a lot. I do crazy fasts, like even up to like 2 days plus. Even at one point I got to about 67 hours, which is like best part of 3 days. And I did that even dry, which is crazy. And I won't be doing that stuff again. I don't know why I did that stuff. It was probably just more just to test my own kind of resilience, and just, I liked the idea of feeling like I didn't need to do any of that stuff. My protein, iron and calcium levels are naturally high, right, okay. Current weather is quite nice. It's just kind of it's a little bit overcast, but it's fairly bright though. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just want to like optimize naturally, because I feel like if I'm starting to go into like super physiological, I feel like I'm cheating myself. and I don't like the idea of that really. I'd rather just see where I can go naturally instead of, because it's like there's all this thing about like, enhanced games or something, which is like, I'm not a doctor now. This thing called enhanced games where they're like gonna do all this like swimming and different like, it's gonna be like a friggin' steroid Olympics. I mean, I don't like the idea of that personally, but you know, each their own, I guess. But like, I just don't like this normalization of it. I'm in better shape now than I was in my 20s, just not as big. So what was you doing in your 20s? Like, did you have different habits then, or are you just gonna put it all down to like the growth hormone? But there's this guy who's like done TRT now, like, you know, like RFK Jr., who goes like, I'm 70 years old and I feel better. I'm in better shape. I feel healthier. I have more energy than I had when I was 20 years old. The American population is so overweight, they're so obese, and they're... Oh, Darth Vader. Is that what Darth Vader... To be honest, I don't even know what... I mean, Darth Vader, hang on. Military. Alright, so you was in the military. I've had people thinking that I look like I'm in the military, but... or ex-military, whatever. Oh yeah, RFK Jr., yeah. And he has this kind of like... Yeah, this sort of glitchy sounding voice or something is what I would probably describe it as. Oh no, correct way for dream. What do you mean? What do you mean a correct way for dream? Can you explain yourself? Too much caffeine. Yeah, caffeine, like I said before, if you're going to drink caffeine, only do it in the morning. You need at least 12 hours between your last drink of caffeine and your sleep, because caffeine has about a 6-hour half-life. So by that, ideally, to have it all out of your system before, to going to bed. So yeah, so if you go to bed at like, makes people stutter. Yeah, it burns out the adrenals and can actually end up becoming dependent on it, and suggests for higher studies. Right? What do you mean higher studies? What do you mean higher studies? Can you explain yourself? Anyway, we've got 9 people in the house. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're all well. Thank you all for hanging out with us. But I've been enjoying this. We've had a good chat on here about health and fitness. But I had some really kind of like obnoxious person in the chat the other day who was apparently a personal trainer for over 30 years, some cyclist or something. He was trying to put these things in the chat saying, what are your qualifications? And then he said, what's the difference between these words? What do these words mean? Like, what does stamina and endurance, power, flexibility, all this kind of stuff, what does it all mean? And I'm like, I can't give you an exact answer because they're quite technical words, but I'm like, it just seemed as though he was trying to kind of catch me out and be like, oh, you shouldn't be, But I'm like, the thing is, most people probably wouldn't even be able to give you an answer anyway. And it's like, if I was to try and explain to people, like, I would explain in my terms how to, do, like, for example, I'd be like, well, if we're talking like things like sprinting, we can be talking power and like speed, and it's like for example, like your endurance would be like more long distance. It's like if we're talking like we'll probably be talking to people like long distance running, and we're talking about this specific sport. We don't need to be getting into like jargon, Although must be in Seaman. It's like, why do we need to get into jargon with people? I don't know if we were just trying to be like act some kind of like smart ass. It really pisses me off when people do that. I shouldn't have reacted so much, but like it's like trying to say that I have no right to be so sort of like giving advice on it. And yeah, sometimes I might get the odd things wrong, but so does everybody, And I don't like this whole appeal to authority thing, because the problem is that, for example, you got even things like science, and you've got things like like the so-called science. Remember in 2020 when, follow the science or whatever, and it's like a lot of it then was debunked. And it's like, and we all kind of knew instinctively that it was just not right. a lot of the stuff they were putting out there. And a lot of it can be agenda driven, and that is the problem, you know. So just because something is so-called science, like, it's not necessarily the case, and a lot of people have been brainwashed into things, you know. And there's a lot of people also say, for example, personal trainers, they have an agenda. What they do is they'll get someone on steroids to, like, you know, they'll get the people on steroids to try and make them look good. So they're complete charlatans and whatever, trying to act like their program is somehow better than everybody else's. So I'm not here to do any of that. I'm here to be transparent. I'm not trying to, you know, lie to people by misleading them with unrealistic expectations. And yeah, everyone's system is unique. But the problem is that when someone's system, they act as though, you know, when you get people who act, like, for example, diets, when they say, oh, do a certain diet, keto diet, paleo diet, raw food diet, high carb diet, low carb diet, high protein diet, low protein diet, high fat diet, you know, all these different variations of diets. Don't eat nightshades, don't eat whatever. It's like, for fuck's sake, people will find what works for them. No gluten in your diet. Fuck off. You know, for real. Like, it's different things work for different people. Yeah, some people might find that keto works for them. I mean, if it helps you with, like, cravings and stuff like that, and helps you to stay in a calorie deficit, then okay. Also, if you've got diabetes, that might be a good idea because it's low in carbs, so you're not gonna, you know, spike your insulin up. But apparently, though, hello Matthew, how are you doing today? That's actually diabetes. Oftentimes, may not actually be caused by eating too much sugar. It might actually be caused by bad fats that people are eating. They're actually blocking up the muscle cells and actually stopping the insulin from getting into it. So a lot of that's just lifestyle and all that, and just having too much fat circulating through your system. Because usually it's the people who, you know, are sedentary and they're eating crap. Those are the ones who usually get it, and it's not necessarily just sugar. So this narrative on anti-sugar, I mean, I don't think we should be eating refined sugar, but there's good sugars, there's bad sugars. And I can't be doing with all this. There's a lot of brain rot around diet, right, where they'll say, oh, don't eat fruit because it's bad, you know? You got people like Eddie Abu, and I think they're just trying to be controversial deliberately, and that's a problem we get with a lot of this content. You have people like Liver King trying to promote extreme diets, and then you've got people like Brian Johnson, the other Brian Johnson, you know, the longevity guy who says he's trying to live forever, and it's like very specific foods, and it's like, just find what works for you. Some are blessed with good genetics. Yeah, that's it, you know. Some people can get away with more, like we were saying. Some people have to really sort of dial everything in a lot better. Like, there's literally guys out there who can eat pizzas and burgers and still have a six-pack. And then there's some people out there that really have to be conscious about their nutrition and diet, exercise, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so it's just, some people are going to find it harder, that's all. It's just, yeah. And then there is some people that you could say will never have a six-pack if they just have that high body fat set point. I don't know how true that is, but if you've got like hypothyroidism, it's going to be very, very difficult, just because it's going to be hard to burn the amount of calories to be able to actually, you know, to be able to kind of be in a deficit. So, yeah, so I understand that it's going to be difficult for some people. You know, some people have, you know, low, you know, not inactive, but like their thyroids are not functioning properly. And even with medication, it's not necessarily going to be a fix, possibly. So do 3 sets and jack. It's like, yeah, it was like, what is it called, Mike Menser? One set per exercise, per workout. Only like do it, say, like once a week. That is very low volume. but it's like that doesn't appeal. That's not for everybody. So you get all these people trying to like say, oh well, let's do it like Mike Mensa because it worked for him, and look how jacked he was. But of course he was taking steroids, and on top of that probably got good genetics, so he responded well to training, even just doing that kind of minimal style of training. So yeah, some people have to really work out harder. They might have to even do things like drop sets and stuff like that to really kind of exhaust the muscles. But your English so nice. Oh, thank you. So we have to just listen to what our body needs, and But there's this whole thing about like, what is it, ectomorph, mesomorph. I think a lot of that is just that some people are going to find it easier to put on muscle and fat, or they're going to find it easier to put on fat. A lot of that depends on, if you're taller, you're going to have to eat more food to put on muscle. And even when you do put on muscle, you can still look kind of skinny. It sucks. I'm a tall guy. It looks alright when I'm sat down here, but I've got long legs and it just makes you look lanky even though I've added on about probably 40, 50 pounds of muscle onto my frame since starting. Which maybe for the average person would be like 30 pounds, let's say. But if you put 30 pounds of muscle on, if you're just like a kind of average guy, that will transform your physique. Like, that is massive. But for a tall guy, it's like even if you put on more than that, it can even just not look that impressive. I don't know. It's just, it can be a bit of a struggle, but you just have to eat a lot of food. I find you have to eat like between 4,000, 5,000 calories a day, something like that. If you want to, well, it depends. If you're starting out, then maybe 3,000 or so, but maybe 3,500. If you're a tall guy, if you're really skinny, like probably 3,000 is enough. Depends on your activity levels, but yeah, like the average person eats about 2,500. So you would be one skinny Brit if you did nothing. I know. I was so skinny. Go look. There was like a post I put out the other week, and you'll see how skinny I was. It was really bad. And I was still pretty tall then as well. You look at my arms though, it was so like, you look at him now, it's like I've pretty much like doubled the size of my arms since then. It's my forearms, my upper arms, it's just all like, So like my whole body was just so lanky, it was not good. So it's just, oh yeah, you've seen it. Oh really? I didn't know you've seen it. But yeah, it was just really bad. Or if you just seen it now, like I mean, it's not good. There was just no shape to my muscles or anything. It was just, I was probably a little bit skinny fat as well. I don't know. I was probably just skinny there in that photo. I was probably just, I think I got to a point where I was like a little bit skinny fat, and then I did really extreme fasting. Then I got scrawny, where I was like probably around 7 to 8% body fat with no muscle on. It was really bad. It was like I was literally getting to a point where I could literally feel my ribs when I was trying to sleep. It was quite disturbing. I was like, while I was trying to sleep on the side, I could literally feel my ribs, like my rib cage, like I could feel it putting pressure on it because there was no cushion or anything. There was no muscle, no fat there at all. It was bad. What are you talking about? Just talking about where I've come from with the fitness and the just like the bodybuilding stuff. But yeah, you're a tower, that's sly. Yeah, no. Because even if I was on like 2,000 calories a day, that's what I would look like. I'd look like Jack Fit, basically, when he was at the starting point, almost. It was like the journey, that's it, Anyway, I hope everyone's well. But this is the thing, it's like I have my own unique perspective on things from my own experiences, and it was rough that time. I was doing so many fasts and stuff. I even got to a point where like it kind of made me ill because I wasn't drinking water even sometimes. I'm about 6'4", so I'm probably in about the top 1% of the height of the population, I reckon. So it's like even doing things like calisthenics, some of that can be quite challenging because of, you know, it adds some extra like resistance to your body, but you can't make an excuse and be like, well, I guess I'm not designed for this, because like I'm starting to be able to do some of the moves like tuck lever holds and stuff like that, and L-sit holds, and you know, that kind of stuff really. Like, so, you know, I'm starting to be able to do some of the more, I wouldn't say advanced calisthenics, because obviously that's not really advanced, but like more like the intermediate calisthenics stuff. Whereas when I first started, I was struggling. Oh, you're 5'7", right? Or the average in this country is about 5'10", so you know, the average here is a little bit taller. But even then, it's like being 5'10" versus being 6'4", it does make the difference. Because I know guys are around 5'10", and they seem to not struggle at all with like body weight movements. It's once you get over 6 foot tall, that's when it really starts to you'll really start to notice the more difficulty. I'm 29 years old, gonna be 30 next year. Anyway, hope everyone's had a blessed day. Share the live out if you can. But yeah, it's interesting to talk about all this stuff. I like to talk about optimizing things, but at the same time, though, we've got to remember that we shouldn't be trying to like optimize everything in that like things that are just going to stress you out and just, for example, we want to like sort of best friends 6'5", 155. I actually got to about that point at one point. It was rough. Like that was yeah, like my lowest, I got even I think a little bit below that. I think my lowest weight was about 68 kilograms. So that's roughly about 150, just under 150 pounds, something like that. Yeah, that was not good. So yeah, I got to below 150 pounds at 6'4". So yeah, that was, I was hovering about 72 kilograms for a lot of the times, which was probably about probably about 155, something like that. It was not good. I had no muscle on me. I had like no fat either. I mean, we don't want a lot of body fat, but like, but when you have nothing on you, it just doesn't look good, does it? Like, it's just skin and bone. And people were starting to get concerned because I'd lost a bunch of weight. So I went from about 81 kilograms down to like, so I'd lost about 10 kilograms of weight. So people would be like noticing there was like some weight loss going on and like, what's going on? Cheese shirt brand, I think it's just, it might just be, I think it was just a Next one. I didn't actually buy it, to be honest with you, but it might just been a Next t-shirt, but yeah, to 210. I'm up to about I'm actually about 217, I think now, actually 215, 217 at 6'4". I'm actually because I've just been trying to fill out, and I mean, I don't know where I'm gonna go, but yeah, see where I can go naturally. I shouldn't really get too bulky because that can hinder you in other ways. Like I said, too much muscle can then lead to, you know, like burning out a lot quicker because, especially if you have a lot of like, you know, you're going to have a lot of like fast twitch muscle fibers, just going to burn out quickly. Oh, thank you. Yeah. My goal originally was to be at about 90 kg, 200 pounds and lean. But yeah, I've kind of like changed my goal since then. Probably because I was like, sometimes we can sort of like limit ourselves in that like, we think, oh well, I'll be happy when I get there. But I'm like, and then just think to just get there. But then I'm like, well, why can't I just keep going, you know? Trying to bulk up a total. I'm trying to like, sort of do both at the same time in terms of like, the idea is to just kind of eat enough to like, make gains, and then I will be just staying at around the same amount of body fat, and then just like slowly, the muscles will just pop out, basically. That's what I've been trying to do. Because I'm like, well, I don't want to just keep going into calorie deficits and then end up actually slowing down the progress. I'm not married, no. So my thing of just trying to kind of get big, and then maybe I could go into a mini cut after that, but my goal is to see because maybe it's like I wouldn't even need to get, if we put on another 20 pounds, maybe that at that point I'm probably already almost like maxing out my natural potential there, but I don't know if I would actually. I don't know. It's just like I'm surprised at how much gains I've actually made just in the last few months of training, because I've been really taking it seriously. I do a lot of walking around. I've been looking into how walking around can actually help with recovery, with actually clearing out a lot of the crap from your body, as well as delivering nutrients to the muscles, because you're helping with blood flow. So if you're keeping the blood flowing, that can help. So a lot of people try to say, oh no, you shouldn't do cardio. Well, if you're doing it at low intensity, whether that's just walking around or just doing some light cardio, then it can actually be supplement your training, help you to actually get better results. So that's what I've found anyway. But also, like I said, meditation as well, that can help with lowering cortisol, helping with the recovery process as well. It's almost like a mini sleep, I find. It's, Has your balance gotten better? Yeah, it has. I've always had balance issues, but I was actually walking on this beam the other day, and I found that I've started to get a lot better. I used to really suck at balance. So, but yeah, I'd say I've gotten better. I think because when you fill out more, it just helps, I think. And you can build your core up and stuff like that. Especially if you do a lot of I think unilateral exercises are good for that, because it's going to work the balance. So things like pistol squats, if you don't use to. Hello, Noah, it's good to see you. I'm good, thank you. How are you doing today? Unilateral exercises are good for working on balance, because say for example pistol squats or things like that. I'm trying to think other ones that are good for that, but it's going to involve a lot of core stability there, which is gonna, or even another one would be the burpees are good. They're more of cardio, I'd say, but I did the other week, a few weeks ago, I did 100 jumping burpees in 15 minutes. So yeah, there was some pretty intense stuff. I did the other day 200 jump squats and 200 push-ups. So that stuff I enjoy. It's but I would do 200. I did 5 pump burpees followed by 5 jump squats. I feel like that works most of the muscles. I prefer doing it that way, because I feel like in terms of time under tension and all that is important for building muscle. So I try to kind of balance out the hypertrophy training with cardio, in a way, which is really a hard session, because when you're doing the jump squats, I just did 5 reps. So I do 5 of the push-ups followed by 5 of the jump squats, and I managed to do that in just 40 odd minutes. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's I've just I've just started this beta alanine, and see how I get with be able to continue going and going. Tai Chi, that's for it's not because I remember they do that diaphragmatic breathing exercises, and that's they do that for say, because I've heard when people when I was learning to do certain vocal techniques and stuff like that, I actually practicing the diaphragmatic breathing, because it's a lot of people, they breathe from their chest, but they should actually be breathing, or from the throat even. There's actually be breathing from the diaphragm. Yeah, posture is better self-confidence. Yeah, posture is something that I've probably struggled a lot with that before, but I have made a lot of improvements because of, obviously working out's going to help that because of especially like this. They reckon you should have good like rotator cuff muscles. I've been trying to work on that sort of doing the what is it called, external rotation. So doing like face pulls. They're good for like balancing out your physique as well as also balancing out your posture, because a lot of people will just end up like being hunched over, and that could lead to obviously some problems. You can lead to back pain in the long run. So it's important that we have exercise that target that. Some people were saying that with chin-ups and pull-ups that they can, if you do them properly, like, because I've seen stuff about like sort of lateral pulley movements versus vertical pulley movements, that they work the muscles differently, because with vertical pulley movements it's more lats, whereas with horizontal pulley movements it's more mid and upper back. Yeah, pull downs are similar to like pull-ups in terms of muscles, but with pull-ups it's a little bit different in terms of, again, you're going to get that stability thing there, so it's important to have some of that in your program to like work on the balance and stability. So that's working those deep core muscles, and that can actually help with the core definition as well. Oh yeah, resistance bands. I do have some of them actually. I could show you. They're not very good, but they're like I just have them like hanging over like that, so I can do this. Hang on, shit. So if I want to do lat pull downs, all I need to do, I'll just demonstrate. So just get down on so I'm hanging over this thing. It's like supposed to be like a coat hanger sort of thing, and just pull down like that. Yeah, so that'll work the lats mainly. So if I want to work other parts of the back, then I'll do horizontal pulley movements. Like face pulls or rows, stuff like that. But I was watching a video on Kay Boggs, which he reckons that body weight rows are not that good, and or just rows in general. Like he said he reckons that pull-ups you can still work your upper back. With that, if you do the scapula and you also kind of lean back. So when you're sort of like getting into the pull-up and you sort of like, you do a lean like that, and you can still get some of that benefits of like the lateral pulling. But yeah, so it's like a lot of people, they don't retract their scapula when they're doing these things. It's like when you're doing the push-ups. I've kind of learned to like, it's all about that kind of mind-muscle connection and making sure that you're activating the muscles properly. And what's that? When you curl, twist your wrist at the top. In about bicep curls, I mean, I don't really do that. I guess it's more, I suppose, like you getting the supination function of the bicep in there. You can do that with like you could do that with dumbbells, or you could do it with rings or whatever. But yeah, I've actually tried doing I was actually trying the bodyweight bicep curls on the rings, and they are actually quite hard, for me at least anyway, on the rings. It was definitely not as easy as it looks. So when you add the rings in, you're adding that instability as well, so it's going to be working different muscles doing that. You're going to, twist out, right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people doing that kind of thing. There's all sorts of different variations, like hammer curls and different things, but
to work more of the brachialis. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people get a bit like overcomplicate things a bit. Like I said, I was ranting about you getting all these like technicalities and stuff. Oh, you know, angle the bench at this degree, 37 degrees or whatever. You know, like instead of because you know that will give you the perfect strength curve, or whatever. It's like it ain't that deep. Or as you just discovered it, yeah. Alright, cool. So I was seeing this video on like on the rolls and saying like how the strength curve on it's bad, and that because you'll fatigue at the bottom first, because it's something about not the first. I mean you can't do the top part of the movement anymore, and then you'll just not get much out of it, and then you'll sort of I would just say that like because you could say, well, that will mean that you can't do partial reps because once you failed at the most difficult part of the movement. Well, what I'd say to that is just do drop sets. So if you're finding that if an exercise has a strength curve bias at the top and it's getting difficult, just then switch suddenly to a lighter weight or something and continue. If that's the case, it's just, you know, there's ways of like fully exhausting the muscle without, you know, having to get all too technical about things. So it's just about kind of, you're doing maybe an easier variation or something. So for example, if you're doing body weight, one way that you can fully exhaust the muscles is if you got to the end of a set of push-ups, go down on the knees and continue a few more reps. If that's something, because that can actually help with like people who are short on time. I'm wondering if you can combine that with supersets to even shorten the time even more. Because I want to try and sort of like encourage people more into training in a way that they can do it more efficiently. If they want to build muscle, then they might be struggling because they're on time restraints. Oh yeah, Larry Wheels is like, he's sort of like, he's massive, that guy, but yeah, it's like dangerous, some of the stuff that he's been doing though, like when he got like, slapped in the face, and like then you have some like injuries and stuff as well. It's just, so it can get quite what's that, muscle failure. I was just saying, like going on to like an easier variation of the exercise if you're struggling to get any more reps out. So like you go on to, let's say, then you know, if you can't get any more pull-ups, you could then say continue and then do negative reps as a way to fully exhaust it. That could be an idea as well. Or if you're doing weighted pull-ups, you can then just take the weight off and then just do a few more of like, but then the problem is it can take a few seconds. Ideally with drop sets, you probably want to just, it to be like a seamless transition between, I don't know. Ego lifting, not good, absolutely, yeah, and some of them just doing some crazy stuff, and some of it might just be for like their channel or whatever, and they just, I don't know, just trying to be like kind of outrageous. So, you know, there's this whole rage bait and stuff like that, it's trying to be outrageous. So we've just got to be kind of like, just be vigilant about these things and just be like, are these people just clout chasing, or is it, I don't know, are they for real? Reverse pyramid. So you're on about like, I've heard people saying about like, doing, say, going from like, you know, but what is it? You know, low intensity to high intensity to then back down to low intensity or something at the end of a workout. It depends on how you're doing your workout, but like some will do like warm-up sets at the beginning, so they might do, like they might say do like kind of each exercise at like a low intensity, just to warm the muscles up. So then they're kind of like priming them for the more intense part of the workout. Muscle collapse, right? But then at the end you would sort of like have to kind of reduce it. But the thing is, they were saying how like working out more frequently, all the muscles in the body, the idea is that if you're having to like, because the problem is that if you're having to like do tons of volume for each muscle, because you're not working them out often, say only maybe like 1 to 2 times a week per muscle group, you're doing say like 20 sets per muscle, something like that. So you might say do a few sets on chest press. You might do a few sets on some other exercise, like I don't know, like bench press. Then it's like it all adds up, and you're accumulating all this fatigue. And is it maybe a better idea to just work out more frequently, but have better quality sets? I think this was something that I think Bold Omni-Man was talking about this, if I remember, about being more efficient with your training, because you get all this stuff of like these people just trying to spam out a bunch of sets, but it starts to get to a point where these sets might not be very productive, and it's just kind of fluff at that point. There's a point of diminishing returns, and maybe doing it more frequently, because if you do it where you've already recovered and then you come back to it and you're like, I do 200 burpees, 100 pull-ups and 300 crunches 5 times a week. Yeah, that's good. And I'm just going to like put it on pause a second. I just need to go to the toilet. Yeah. Alright guys. Bear with me a second. Alright. Alright, sorry guys. So yeah, 200 burpees, 100 pull-ups and 300 crunches 5 times a week, that is good. So yeah, doing like, just all these like different fundamental movements, but some say that crunches are bad for you and all that. Remember like Mark from Gravity Core Fitness was saying, oh, don't do crunches because they'll mess up your neck or whatever. I think that's more sit-ups if you do them too much, but I think also it depends on your control of the movement. But I personally am not really that into sit-ups because I just find I don't get much out of it. If I'm just doing these fast sit-up reps, I just find they're just kind of fluff. Whereas crunches, what I do is I tend to focus on part of the movement that's where I get more attention. Do you think about the actual like mechanics of it all? Sit-ups, I think, what is it, once you go past a certain point, it's more hip flexors. So I'll show you what I mean. So what happens, right? So let's get down, just like do an example. So we're doing hang on, I just need to, right, so we're doing, this is what I do. So I hold the tension here. And that's going to really, you're going to feel that more in your abs. As opposed to just doing this. But what is the point of doing that? I don't know. I've done that before, to be honest. Just challenges and stuff, but it'd be more cardio, I guess. But I think there's even better cardio exercises than that, to be honest. I do think you'd have to spam a lot of reps to get anything out of it. But for me personally, I think that doing like that, or if you're gonna do like, yeah, I would just say like pausing is good, like that, and just like doing that kind of thing, right? Because that'll, yeah, basically once you go past like the crunch kind of angle, if you will, I find that it takes tension off the abs, because you're no longer in that sort of sort of like that range anymore, if you get me. Hopefully you understand where I'm going with it. But yeah, basically, yeah, sit-ups, I don't know. Like, I don't have to say if you do them like with control, but personally I just think that you're probably not going to get a lot out of it unless you're doing tons of volume. Because I know there's this guy called Jace, and he spams a whole bunch of volume, but I think he said he does like 500 a day or something crazy, but I'm like, does that really make a whole lot of sense? Do you really need to be doing that? Is it really that important to be, I don't know, I meant like, is it really a good idea to be spamming several hundred of those a day? I think that it's better to do more of the, I don't know, unless you're just trying to get the cardio, but like I said, there are other exercises that'll probably get you more cardio than sit-ups. Sit-ups, I mean, they will burn some calories, but yeah, if you swapped it out for just doing say like even jumping jacks will burn a lot of calories. Either jumping jacks or star jumps, they burn a lot of calories, or even squat jumps, they burn a lot of calories as well. So, hello Maroi, how you doing? I think they burn a lot more calories than sit-ups. Sit-ups I just find, because they're more of like an upper body exercise, and it's mostly in your abs. You'll get a bit of legs in it from like leg drive, but it's not going to be training that many muscle groups in your body compared to say doing a more compound movement that's going to like be more cardio. So if you're trying to burn calories, then yeah, I mean burpees can be good for that. It all depends on your endurance though, because if you can't do too many of them, then you might just find that you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. So yeah, because with like burpees, it's like if you haven't got like good strength endurance, then with like, I don't know, then it might be, you might want to look at other things to start off with, maybe more easier variations of it, but that can be good for burning calories. But basically compound movements are gonna burn a lot more calories than
more isolation type of stuff. Yeah, it's doing daytime today, so, you know, well, I thought I'd come on earlier today. I don't know if, what's it called, still there. Is Vic still there? But anyway, hope you're all having a blessed day today. But yeah, it's just, the thing is, a lot in the fitness, there's a lot of people who just don't know what they're talking about, and they're just kind of pushing a load of nonsense out, and they think they're some kind of expert, and they don't know what they're talking about. And it's kind of like, it can get a bit infuriating when people start saying, oh, like, carbs are bad for you, and, like, don't eat any carbs. I'm like, I just feel like I'm losing brain cells every time I see some fitness content. I don't know, it's just, a lot of it's just ridiculous. Like, I just, or even if someone says, don't eat any fat at all, it's like, it's the same kind of thing, you know. You got these people act like they know everything, and they're just, a lot of them are charlatans, and they're there to sell you something. There's no problem with people trying to sell you something. It's just when people are trying to do that with like illegitimate intentions and all that. They're just like, everyone's all trying to like. It's like, it seems like a lot of people are just out there to scam you or to grift or whatever. I don't like it. It's just like, hang on a second. I'll just mute up. Alright guys, I've got to get going. There's someone doing gas check, so yeah, I'll be back later guys, 7 PM probably, so take care, bye.